What's going on YouTube? My name is Dom, and as you can see, I busted out the whiteboard again today to help me with this video. I literally just got home from work. So today, I was going to go over exactly what is wrong with Call of Duty's maps, Call of Duty World War II's maps in my view, and that's why I busted out this whiteboard. I actually did a little bit of research for this. I looked around at a lot of things, and I tried to figure out exactly what was going on. Everybody's complaining about the maps, right? So I decided, hey, let's do some in-depth digging. Let's figure out exactly what's wrong with it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started. So anyway, as you can see up here, I drew this thing up. So I actually came up with this diagram that I went through some of the most popular Call of Duty maps from the games that I currently have that I had access to. But anyway, I came up with this. This is kind of the overall general way that our favorite maps in Call of Duty have been structured. And I kind of wanted to go in depth with this and show you how it actually, and contrast that with Call of Duty World War II's maps to give you guys a good idea of what they might be doing wrong. So up here I drew this diagram. These black lines, these are all the pathways that you can generally use. This is a very simplified version of the map. It's very bland, very basic, but this is kind of the common theme that I find that all of these maps have together. There were some big things that I actually wanted to point out here. First, I'm going to start with the spawns. So the spawns, as you can see, are very clearly behind the endpoint. This is a separate part of the map, and you do have entryway from the spawn into the flanks, also to go right down the middle. Now at the end of the map, this is where you're going to start getting into the action points. Now from here, as you can see, you still have the option to go out into the flank, and you do have the option to go down the middle. Now I drew these little ones on the side, so these are actually going to be my overlook spots. So as you can see, I either have two overlooks on the side or you have two down the middle. I haven't really seen a lot of maps where you're going to have the ones on the side and in the middle. Generally, for really popular maps, for the good maps, you're going to have two either across from each other down the middle or on the corners. Or of course, these can be adjacent as well, so you can have one there, not one there, and one there and not one there, right? So you can have a kind of catty corner. And I found that that's the common theme, right? Now the middle, this is a huge part. So as you can see, this is the biggest single part on the map. Now that's not to say that it needs to be the biggest part of the map. It definitely does not, but the middle needs to attract the most attention, right? It's going to be kind of like a no man's land, but it's going to have sporadic obstacles for you to dart back and through from, but you can also cut up, you can come at it from the flanks, whatever. Right, but obviously it's a very clear and defined section, probably more so than the other areas, because you want the flanks to be separate. You want people to be able to flank. That is why you want the middle to be the hot seat. That's where you want everybody to kind of be funneling to, so you do have the option to flank rather well. Now with these flank spots, I also wanted to point out that most of the time, these areas right in the middle, those are actually a no man's land, right? So that's where you're going to get picked off by snipers in these towers, probably. So you have to be really careful when you do this. So it does take some strategy to actually go along those flanks. And then I also included this over here. This is another sort of map design, but this one has a sort of a central objective that you are trying to control, that the entire team is going for. And then it still has this same basic running route, just kind of laps over and kind of does a circle around that middle point. But yeah, in Black Ops 1, there was that map where you had that sort of dome structure and everybody was running into that. It was a winter map, it was multi-floored, and that's kind of what everybody was fighting for. That's where you were going. So these are kind of your basic structures for all the maps you're really going to find. And then keep in mind, these are the most popular maps. There may be some one-offs that have different designs, but they all basically run up to this. So now I'm going to go in depth and I'm going to kind of compare and contrast these really popular maps from Call of Duty with the unpopular maps from Call of Duty World War II. Now, holy shit, you might be wondering, what old-ass game am I playing in this gameplay? This is Black Ops 1. If you guys just hit puberty last year and you don't know about this game, this is Black Ops 1, and it's fucking amazing. Alright, so now up with my map comparisons. For this first one, I am comparing the map Aachen from Call of Duty World War II, and I'm comparing Launch from Black Ops 1. Now, if you can see, I mean, it is kind of difficult to actually see on the Black Ops 1 map, just because the shots I could get of the overview were kind of far away. But as you can see, there's clearly a lot more clutter in the map Aachen. And obviously, on the map Launch, you do have a a middle section that is completely, that's the middle. That is the defined section that is the middle. And you do have clear flanks that are not obstructed or anything. If you go ahead and look at Aachen, tell me where the middle is at. If you could give me a clear description of where the middle is at, that would be wonderful, but you can't. And Aachen has no lookout points, none at all. At least there are 2 on the map Launch, and Launch is a good map in my opinion. I think Launch flowed really well. Doesn't have the obstructions that Aachen has. So next up are the maps Villa and Saint Marie du Mont. I decided to compare these ones. They looked a little bit the same. They kind of have the same general flow. So on Saint Marie du Mont, obviously we can point out the clutter again. The clutter is unreal. But in between point C and A, you have that building, which kind of works as the middle section. I want to say it's like a middle tower section that everyone's trying to control, but it does not have the signature wraparound style that a central point map should. Now with Villa, it doesn't have quite the same thing. The middle actually forms as is the point between C and A, and that's kind of a no man's land, right? With those obstacles that you have to kind of dart back and forth through. It does have a few overlooks, enough to be fair. It does have one on the left in front of A, and one in between, right next to C4, and then right next to C point. With Saint Marie du Mont, it has both overlooks directly in the middle, and then 2 also in the middle. In those buildings. Now up next is Nuketown and USS Texas. So USS Texas is one of the most popular maps from Call of Duty World War II, and Nuketown is one of the most popular maps ever. So I thought it would be fair to compare them. Now obviously the clutter is unreal, you can tell here. Now what I really don't like about USS Texas is something you can point out. It has 2 overlook points on the left flank, right in, that B is in between, and it also has 2 in that central building there. And that central building kind of focuses, like Saint Marie du Mont did, as a central point to control. Now, if you look at Nuketown to contrast that, it has both of the lookout points in the middle. It has none on the flanks. It has clear flanks. The only thing with Nuketown, it has a middle section that kind of extends across the entire map. You can flank it, but it's a little bit more difficult. So this one stretches the rules a little bit as far as that middle point. Or you could say both the sides are the flanks, and then it doesn't have the middle. But either way, it stretches it just a little bit. But as you can see, the clutter is absent on Nuketown. Alright, awesome. So I hope I made my point clear that the maps in Call of Duty World War II are completely overcluttered, and they kind of break the rules that Call of Duty is known for as far as making maps and how they're supposed to be designed, and it really messes up the flow. And I hope I got that point across. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe just so you can keep up to date with all my future content. Make sure you drop a like on this video. It really does help me out as well. And please leave a comment down below. If you have any thoughts, opinions, or ideas about the video, please drop down there below. I'd love to have a discussion with you. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.